These are our 7 accessibility personas. They're made-up people with different kinds of access needs. We have profiles for each of the personas that simulate their condition and focuses on the assistive technology they're using. But please bear in mind that this is not a substitute for including users with access needs into your testing. A simulation is never a true representation of an impairment, and the assistive technologies that we're using here are not necessarily always the commonly used ones, so you shouldn't use them for compatibility testing. This is Simone. Simone is dyslexic, and to simulate how it's more difficult to read for her, we're scrambling the letters around on the screen. What she does to help with that is she changes the background color to be not white, but this slight yellow. She tints the background. That helps a lot of dyslexic people. And she also changes the font to be a more dyslexic-friendly font. This is Salim, and Salim is deaf. What many people don't know about deaf people when they were born deaf, that British Sign Language is his first language, and English is his second language. And in order to simulate how it might be difficult to read English as a second language, we're translating everything into Pig Latin. Now, this simulation doesn't work very well if you don't know Pig Latin, but it's very easy. It's basically a Bowdlerized version of English. So when a word starts with a consonant, you put the consonant at the end and then put A afterwards. So persona becomes personape. And when a word starts with a vowel, you put way at the end. So about becomes about way. That makes it all possible to read, it just makes it harder to read. So this is Pavel. Pavel has Asperger's and anxiety. And in order to simulate his sensory overload and his feeling of stress, we're trying to annoy the heck out of you by moving lots of different things, and we're putting sentences that remind him of things across the screen, and everything is blinking and so on. So that's intentional, and we also add annoying sounds. So when you switch between pages and so on, that's supposed to annoy you. Something that Pavel does that helps him a little bit is that he changes the colors to be a bit more soothing. So this is Chris. Chris has rheumatoid arthritis, so it's quite painful for him to use a mouse or the touchpad, so he tries to use the keyboard. And the simulation here is, it doesn't really simulate anything except that you cannot use the mouse. So when I'm moving the mouse here outside on the top of the browser, the pointer is showing, but when I move down, it's just not showing, so you cannot actually use it. So you have to use the tab key to move between different focusable interactive things, like links and form elements. So when you use the tab key, you go to the next thing, and when you use Shift and Tab together, you can go back. If you want to test things that has radio buttons and checkboxes, they're a bit different. You need to use the arrow keys to go in between them and the space bar to select. And you can always use Enter to follow a link or submit a form, and Escape to close things. Chris has just started to use voice control. We have one voice control tool here. That's a quite simple one, but it's this icon here at the top, the person with like a speech bubble. I'll show you how to use it now. It brings up things that tells you how to use it. You can read that. And as you can also see, it tries to interpret everything I'm saying. So I'll stop talking to you now and only talk to the tool. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll up, scroll up, click. It's not working very well. Click. 2. As you can see, it scroll up and scroll down, scrolls up and scrolls down. When you say click, it gives you different numbers, and you just have to say the number that you want to click. Help. So you can always say help to understand what are all the things you could say. Ron is an older person, and what's typical for older people, he's got multiple conditions. He's got arthritis, hearing loss, cataracts, and hip replacements. And we're simulating only 2 of these, so he has a bit trouble seeing things, so we're blurring the screen a little bit. You can still see things well enough, but some things get a little bit more difficult. And we're simulating his having trouble using the mouse or the touchpad by wobbling the pointer. So if I go down in a straight line with the pointer, you see it's actually not in a straight line. It wobbles about. If I go straight to the right, it's not going straight either. So that's trying to make it difficult to click on things. And what's also more typical for older people, he's not very technical, so he doesn't know that there are things that could help him with this. So what you might want to know, you might want to zoom in to be able to see things better, but he doesn't know that he can do that. So when you're testing things with Ron, you shouldn't do that either. Or if you have trouble clicking on things, you might want to use the tab key, similar to what Chris does, but Ron doesn't know that that works, so he wouldn't use it either. So this is Claudia. Claudia is sight impaired, and she uses a screen magnifier and changes colors to increase the contrast. In this example with these Chrome profiles, she does not use a screen magnifier though. She zooms in. In the setup that we use with Chromebooks, we do use a screen magnifier, but in this setup, she zooms in. So she zooms in about 400%, which usually means things go into mobile view, but are just much bigger. And yeah, she has a high contrast settings, so the colors are different to help her see things.
Window Ashley. Severely sight-impaired screen reader user. Accessibility personas. Accessibility personas.
Ashley is severely
Link banner.
sight-impaired. The simulation is that everything is blurred out quite a lot, but you cannot see that intentionally on her homepage, but you can see it on all the other pages. And she uses a screen reader. If we
Welcome
go
to Gov
here, this is
UK
gov.uk, and she can see that this is gov.uk. Just from the design, you can maybe even read welcome to gov.uk, but she cannot see anything else. So she uses a screen reader, and the way you do that is, well, you can use similar to what Chris did. You can use the tab key when tabbing to actionable thing to another and form elements and links. But if you want to read anything else in between, you would have to use Control and Command together with arrow right, the right arrow key, or arrow left to go back. I'll demonstrate that now.
Cookies to collect information. Accept. Set. Gov UK. Visited link banner. Coronavirus. Covered. Main. Search Gov UK. Edit text. Search entry. Search header.
So this was just using the tab key, but if I wanted to read things in between the last two things I tapped to, I'm now using Command Control arrow.
Exited main. Guidance and support. Main. Welcome to Gov UK. Heading 1 header. The best place to find government services and information. Simpler. Clearer. Faster. Search Gov UK. Edit text. Search entry search.
You can read more about these personas at alphagov.github.io/accessibility-personas.